Look! Look, the dynamic duo!
Hey guys, welcome to the Dynamic Duo. I'm Franz.
I'm Kevin. Welcome back to Avengers Tower and the Batcave, ladies and gentlemen.
Kevin, my friend, we wanted to wait until the end of the show to kind of review it, but what do you think about Moonknight so far?
That's what I think of it.
Wow.
In all honesty, let me be fair. Let me get this out. The best thing about Moonknight to me, in terms of the character, is seeing him in the costume.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
The costume designers got that part right. I love Oscar Isaac as an actor. I think he's incredibly talented. When he's been given the right thing, I think Ethan Hawke is also fantastic.
Yes.
My problem with Moonknight up to this point, and I don't expect it to change, is that Moonknight is in the same position that Hawkeye was. And it may even be less so. And here's why. Moonknight has 6 episodes. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and number 4 drops. The show has been operating for roughly a month now based on tomorrow. It's been operating for 4 weeks. And for more than a month, we have watched this show that is supposed to be based on a superhero, supernatural based or not, but the primary thing is it's based on a superhero that we still don't understand and know nothing about. The primary character only shows up, maybe if we're lucky, the last 2 or 3 minutes of each show that they've done. A few of them, even though there have only been 3 episodes as of tonight's recording of the show, not even all of them have included Moonknight. There have been some that, you know, characters have bounced around. We haven't seen hide nor hair of the hero. I hate to say this, but outside of watching Oscar Isaac, at times, I find the show incredibly boring. And I hate to say that about a Marvel piece, but I find it boring. Nothing happens. There is way too much exposition in this thing. And as I said to you earlier this afternoon, I personally think this is going to be a show that will emulate a lot of what they did in Hawkeye, which by that reckoning, what I mean is 4 of Hawkeye's episodes worked for me and 4 of them didn't. This, because it's only 6 and we're getting number 4 tomorrow morning, I think that in the last 2 episodes, if not even maybe the last one, we're going to get the big explanation for why Moonknight is Moonknight and why he's the hero. The sad part about this overall, partner, is that there is not going to be a Moonknight season 2. Disney and Marvel have already said, just like Hawkeye, we're not doing this again. Part of why I really don't like the show, and part of my boredom, and I'll say this and then I'll turn the table over to you.
Take your time.
Is that within the space of what they're doing, he almost acts meaning the human part of him. The character almost acts like the Stephen / Mark character, almost acts like David Banner from the early days of the Hulk, with the, oh no, the hero can't come out, I'm so scared, and what have you. Now he plays on and plays the role of the multiple personality issue perfectly, but nothing else happens in this show. People keep talking about how fabulous Ethan Hawke is. As an actor, yeah. In this show, no. The reason why I say no is because Ethan Hawke, to me, is doing exactly what Peter Fonda did in Ghost Rider. He's walking around with a cane.
Interesting.
He's speaking in a very slow, maudlin tone. Oh, Stephen, oh, Mark, you cannot do this. It is ordained that you cannot do this. I must have the scarab. You must do what I say do. He's not frightening. He's not engaging. He's not coming across as a bad guy in the true sense of saying, I'm the big bad for the show to me.
Mm-hmm.
He's just boring. I'm sorry. That's how I see it.
As always, that's why I love talking to you. For me, Moonknight, I'm a little torn on Moonknight. And I'll tell you why. Something very interesting happened with Moonknight. My young nephew, who happens to be a brilliant kid, one of those special kids. All my nephews and nieces are kind of cool. But anyway, so he texted me and he said, "Hey, have you seen Moonknight?" And I was like, "Oh, I think I had seen one episode at the time." And I said, "Yeah, I did." I said, "What did you think?" He said, "I like it." And that was very telling to me, because that's really the audience that you wanna get interested. And he was interested. And I was like, hey, I like it too. Here's my objective review of Moonknight, despite that little fact, which is telling, because sometimes the reality is beyond our personal taste and opinion. And the fact that he likes it actually means a lot to me in terms of, hey, maybe they're doing something that I'm not seeing. Moonknight for me is a good show in this sense. It's well delivered. I think the acting is really good. Is it Oscar Isaac? I think he's, as you said, I think he's doing a fine job. I think the director is doing a fine job at delivering sequences and storytelling and all that other stuff. There's nothing that I could pick up and say, oh, this is bad. But just like you said, I'm not drawn to it. I find it too. You know what we've lost, Kevin? We've lost just the linear. We just talked about. We just did a review on Thor Ragnarok. Thor: Love and Thunder teaser. And what we seem to have lost is just that straight up traditional storytelling of the superhero. The hero struggles in the beginning. He has a challenge that he needs to overcome. He faces that challenge. Most of the time he loses, goes back, trains to get better, and comes back and overcomes the challenge and defeats the enemy. It's the old adage. And we've lost that. And so this is yet to me another example of a show trying to be more sophisticated and more complex than it needs to be. That same story could have been done in a much more entertaining way. You're absolutely right. Moonknight barely shows up in the show. Sometimes, as you said, he doesn't show up at all. And when he does, it's in a peekaboo sort of way, as opposed to, you ever watch a show and you see a fight sequence or an action sequence and you're like, whoa, that was awesome. That feeling that you had when you watched Matrix for the first time, that feeling that you had when you watch a Kung Fu flick from back in the day, or some of the really cool stuff that's happening today. That's what the genre is, man. That's what it's supposed to be, first and foremost. That's why we're reading and watching people dressed in funny looking costumes. I'm sorry to say, that's the material. That's I'm not saying that that should come at the sacrifice of good writing. Not at all. Great action, horrible writing, that's not good either. But the genre is a genre that's supposed to deliver, first and foremost, in terms of action, in terms of adventure, in terms of, that's the genre. And to focus on anything else is, in my opinion, a mistake. Now, every once in a while, you could do a story that's interesting, that's about a superhero that has no action, but those have to be the exception to the rule. And so, what I find with Moon Knight is that it's trying too hard. It's trying too hard to be something that it's not. Give me Moon Knight, make the costume a little bit less mummy-ish. And just give me some cool action and some straight up storyline and the schizophrenic, whatever. It is a good show. There are some aspects of it that are good. When you do see Moon Knight, some of the sequences are pretty cool. I could see why my nephew would like it. And as I said, that weighs a lot in terms of my factor, in terms of judging it. So the fact that he likes it, hey, you know what? I'm gonna have to give it a plus. He's smart enough to say, hey, there's something about this that I like. And I genuinely think that it's in terms of what Disney Marvel has delivered, I rank it below Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think WandaVision was a total and absolute mess. In hindsight, the more I think about it, the more I dislike it. I think Loki was not very, very good. There are some good aspects of it. There are some episodes that were good there, but overall, I think it's a terrible disappointment. I don't like the What If series at all because it just disconnected me completely from, it was like nothing. It was nothing to me. Hawkeye, I watched one episode. Actually, I didn't mind it. I didn't think it was bad in any way, shape, or form, but I haven't been drawn to watch the other episodes. So this one ranks below Falcon and Winter Soldier, which to me delivered 1,000%. Falcon and Winter Soldier to me is what we should be getting from a superhero show. Mm-hmm. It was very action oriented without sacrificing good storyline and intimate little lessons that are thrown in. To me, Falcon and Winter Soldier gets the highest score. This one probably gets the second score. But yeah, that's how I feel about it.
If I may, of
course,
and I promise I'll make this quick. One of the things that is wrong with a lot of these shows, whether it's Moon Knight, Hawkeye, it doesn't matter. The primary thing that's wrong with it, or wrong with them, is that I think they're trying to cram too much into too limited a time frame. Excuse me. And I partially think that's what happened with the book of Boba Fett and some of the other stuff that you and I have talked about over the last several months. Is that there almost needs to be a series mandate, okay, for these streaming shows where you say flat out 12 episodes, 14 episodes, and you tell your stories that way. This 6-episode run, 7-episode run, is not giving you enough time to get this done, period, in a lot of cases. And the reason why I say this on the other side of it is the average movie, when we go to a theater as a people, the average movie is anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours long, maybe 2 hours and 10 minutes, depending upon what you're looking at or thereabouts. A movie tells you a beginning, middle, and end within a 2-hour period. Disney, HBO Max, and some of these other streaming services that are doing these things Hulu, whoever it's from, they have 6, 7 episodes. That's 45 minutes to an hour each. They have all this time in front of them and they waste it. But yet, when we pay the money to go sit in the theater, a 2-hour movie, you're getting the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you leave, and whether you like the movie or don't like it is academic. But your whole story has been told in the 2-hour time frame.
Yeah.
But you can't give your audience for a streaming service a better story with 6, 7, 8 hours worth of work. No.
Yeah.
And that's honestly, I think that's something for not just Disney to consider, but all of them.
I think part of the reason for that is because they don't know what story they're telling or what genre they're dealing with. I genuinely think so. I think they don't know, they don't respect. And so it's like, oh, let me figure this out. Some directors think, oh, this is garbage, I'm just gonna make garbage. Some directors think, this is garbage, let me fix it. And some directors think, you know what, I'm not even considerate, let me give you my vision.
Mm-hmm.
And very rarely do we find someone who says, you know what's interesting? And we could do a whole separate show about this, but I've been fascinated lately with the transition between manga and anime. First of all, both manga and anime get it. And because they get it, it's increasing in popularity and surpassing comic books. Right now, mangas are outselling some comic books. And anime attracts people. Like, you know, you watch an anime like One Punch Man, and it's like wildfire. It's like wildfire.
Mm-hmm.
Was What If wildfire? You know, are you watching, are you seeing What If everywhere? And the reason is because the manga has that way of telling that they understand the genre and it's action, deliver the action, but deliver it A, in a cool way, and B, in a way that's connected to what's happening within the story. That's the genre. And so we lose that. We lose that in these you know, Disney shows and things like that, and in the movies. We're trying to figure out something that's not there. The One Punch Man in particular is fascinating. It was created by a creator by the name of One, and he apparently was a little kid who did web comics, and he drew web comics in the most rudimentary way that you could. Like, I could draw it the same way too, you know. There's a lot of talent, there's a lot of magic in there, but it's, you know, a child's thing. That webcomic became extremely popular, and a professional Japanese manga artist said, oh, let me do that comic. But here's what he did, Kevin. It's a panel for panel translation. Mm-hmm. There was no disrespect of that kid. He didn't take that kid and say, oh, I get the concept, let me reinvent it my way. And he's like, no, that's genius. Let me bring my skill set onto what you did. And then from there, my friend, it went to anime. And anime is literally the manga come to life. To this day, I don't really understand how they do that, but it's literally a panel by panel manga come to life. And guess what? The webcomic was hugely popular. The manga, which is the exact same thing, is hugely popular. And the anime, which copies the exact same thing, is usually popular. I say this to say, let's compare it to what happens in American movies, in American superhero movies. The comic book is created. By the time we get to the movie, the story has been changed, completely ignored, the character, the history. What is happening now with Spider-Man? It is simply not Spider-Man. What happened with Bryan Singer's X-Men is simply not the X-Men. What's happening with Thor? It's simply not Thor, and so on and so forth. And so it's gotten so crazy and convoluted that even the comics have lost their identity, that you can't find Spider-Man in the comic books anymore. Yeah. So that's the difference. And And we're riding a wave of success. But I'm telling you, this is the last thing I'll say now, you could close off. But what we need to remember is that whatever success Feige is having, whatever success Marvel is and Disney is having with those Marvel characters, it is not coming from the modern material, the 2000 and up material. That success, the genesis of that success is from what Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Roy Thomas, Marv Wolfman, that's who built it. The reason we're watching a Thor Love and Thunder movie is not because of Thor Love and Thunder, because of, Jane Foster Thor. That's not why it's there.
What you just said as a close couldn't be more precise. You're 100% correct. I'm worried about some of Feige's decisions at this point, based on some of what is happening now.
Me too.
I'm scared.
Me
and
too.
the whole idea of Marvel doesn't make mistakes and Marvel doesn't screw up and DC is so much worse off, people better back up and take a peek at what they're looking at.
Me too. Yes, I agree with you 1000%. First of all, Kevin Feige better not mess me up, because I've got a bet running with Ralph that I better not lose. Second of all, I'm not going to lose that bet, because regardless of the quality of the material, the internet dictates and it becomes a $1 billion thing and it becomes successul. Hence Thor Love and Thunder. So I don't think I'm going to lose the bet on that basis, which is what I've been trying to explain to him, that I understand his concerns. I articulated what we've been talking about, but the engine is so big that by the time the Fantastic Four and the X-Men come out, there's going to be so much hype around it. It's still going to be hugely popular. That's the premise of the difference between our opinions. But ultimately, what you said is right. I am worried about Kevin Feige's decisions, and he better not screw up a very delicate material, my friend. The X-Men are very delicate material. How do you present the X-Men? Do you present them in their colors? Which the idea is, oh, you can't do the superhero suit, nonsense. That's been disproven so many times, and yet we still hold on to that idea. We can't do the powers the way that they've been. It's too childish, too comic book, and nobody, blah, 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 blah. Nonsense. You got to deliver the X-Men the way that the X-Men are, my friend. Yes, make it look good. Make it good quality. Don't give me cosplay. Of course not. But give me the X-Men. Second of all, give me the X-Men storylines and try not to mess with it. Try not to mess with it. Give me the X-Men storyline. Give me the Shire. Give me death of Jean Grey. Give me the classic storylines as they were delivered. That's what we liked. Same thing for the Fantastic Four. Very delicate material. Very delicate material. So far, no one has understood the Fantastic Four. You need to deliver the Fantastic Four well. And of all the Marvel, you said something earlier, this whole idea of comedy and superhero movies. I'm not going to say the only, I'm sure there are others, but the Marvel material where humor is supposed to be a part of it is the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four has a very delicate balance between action and adventure, and it's primarily action and adventure. That adventure part is extremely important to the Fantastic Four. But the interaction between the Thing and the Torch, that's where there's humor and the Thing's reaction and the things that he's a humorist. He's a funny guy. He's a funny guy with anger. He kind of reminds me of Ace from Ace and Row. My boy Ace. That was the Thing all the way, man. Lovable, prone to anger, but hilarious. Like it's fascinating dichotomy. Trichotomy. But anyway, so those are very sensitive material that Kevin Feige should be handling. And I hate to say, the middle section, after we've left Endgame and that first phase one, whatever you want to call it, but phase two, I give it a thumbs down, my friend. I give it a total C- failure. I don't think he did a good job handling the characters. I hate to say it, I don't think Shang-Chi was that great of a movie. I think I would have delivered Shang-Chi much better. The only good movie I could think of was Black Widow. I think that was really, really, really good. But I don't, you know, oh, and you know, well, yeah, the original Doctor Strange is phase 1. Yeah, I'm not liking, I think he's gotten a little bit too big for his britches. And so I think you're right. We should be worried about that.
Yeah.
You know,
Anyway, I am absolutely afraid for X-Men and the Fantastic Four. And I hate to say this, and this is the last of what I'll say. If he doesn't hit home runs with both of these, okay, you can even take Thor: Love and Thunder out of the mix. You can remove it. They have 3 movies on the horizon. One of them comes out in about 2 weeks, which is Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah.
Okay. If they hit a home run with that one, they can run around the bases a little longer. But what's going to bring Marvel back to the glory days of what they started with the MCU are specifically going to be the Fantastic Four and whatever they do with the X-Men. And if they drop the ball with those two, I don't give a hoot what they plan in the future after that. Marvel's reputation will go into the toilet.
1,000%. 1,000%.
It will go into, they could come up with 5 more characters and 100 more streaming shows. They could work at bringing it back if it fails.
Yeah.
But they've got to hit a home run with Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And they've got to hit inside the park home runs with both X-Men and the FF.
Yes.
If they don't, the casket of Marvel is going to close and they're going to nail it shut.
Yes. 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 I couldn't agree with you more. And as always, brilliantly said. Guys, listen, let us know if you agree or disagree. Certainly our opinions are very, we're very opinionated. So feel free to disagree with us or to agree with us. Let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share and at least have the conversation. You know, this going along to get along nonsense is ridiculous. And we're missing out on good, potentially good material. Mm-hmm. Thor could be excellent, my friend. And so could the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. So join us next time.
We'll be here until you get back.